Okay, Germany this evening. Joining me once again in the commentary box is Mr. Jar Bilou. Good evening, Jar.
A good evening, Matt. Every driver is now ready up. Not a full grid exactly tonight. Only 3 drivers missing. A Red Bull Williams tonight. But we hope to see some good racing for tonight. Unfortunately, there wasn't a streamer in X1 since our main commentator was on holiday. But this will be exciting to see how they go.
Yes, and it appears we also have at least one new driver. I've just seen Leasing Mender, which is, I think, Matt in the McLaren. So I think he's a brand new driver to the league. First time he's raced this evening. So let's see how he gets on. Again, like last week, we had 3 or 4. He'll be looking to do the best he can to hopefully get a full-time seat.
Yeah, according to my sources, apparently he's a qualifying master. So we shall see what's going on, because he did do during his testing for the drivers, he did set a 1:12 on his first lap. So this will be interesting to see what he can probably do.
Yeah, that's a very, very quick lap time, because the Xtreme 1 race earlier on, the pole position time was a 1:11.6. So not too far off the pace with that if he's already into the 1:12. So that's a very good start. So great racetrack here at Germany. Shame it's not going to be on the calendar for next season as far as we're aware.
And it's wet.
It always produces... And it's a wet start. Wow, what a start already here. It's going to be wet. And we've had... it was Canada and somewhere else where we had probably 2 of the best races we've commentated on in the pouring rain. So he's always brilliant in the rain.
This is going to be exciting.
Indeed it is.
He's going to go out first on the inter tyres.
Yes, I'm going to try and see if I can...
That is a Ferrari engine I hear. Who's going to go out first?
I'm going to go and try and see if I can track down the weather report for this race and see if it is going to stay wet.
It is Ricard that goes out first on track. He is on the inter tyre. Sees the right conditions for it. There's a Red Bull Rianfore, and in the new Ferrari driver of Pete Poloni. Pete Poloni has been promoted from Alfa Romeo to Ferrari for the rest of the season since F1 Vettel left the league.
Yeah, so good promotion from him there, from the Alfa Romeo up to the Ferrari. Although I might know he's still in the Alfa. Pete Polini isn't in the Ferrari. I think it's yes, he is. Sorry, misread that. We've got Dean as well in the Ferrari, who raced earlier on this evening as well. So
yep, of course,
good bit of practice for him this evening. 2 races in a row. So we've got quite a few cars tentatively going out on racetrack. It's a difficult racetrack in the rain here. Always seems to be quite slippery, and of course with it being so narrow, it's so easy to make a mistake. Good old-fashioned gravel traps in a lot of the corners, and the walls aren't that far away either.
Ricard goes off track for a second there.
Who was that, sorry?
Ricard is going off track from the last corner, actually before the last corner, but here we go for his first.
Oh, we've got David Edgar off as well. David Edgar is off. I'm trying to see where he is. I think he's down in turn
as well.
8. So yes, driver's really struggling with this wet conditions at the moment. Yes, David Edgar off at turn 8. He seemed to go off even before the corner. When he came back on the track, he was halfway round turn 8, so I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, looking at the onboard of Ricard, it seemed very, very, very slippy out there.
And Rian Fori appears is having technical issues. He's out of the session at the moment. Another yellow flag in sector 2, but they're trying to get their way, tiptoe their way around the racetrack. This is Andy Ship here in the Alfa Romeo starting his lap. And we've already got Thomas Edwards and Ken in the Toro Rosso and Pete Polini as well, and a couple of others. Scott in the Mercedes and Rickard in the Haas, all starting their laps.
Yeah,
So let's
Ricard's
see
now in
how they
sector
get on
3.
here.
Of course, this track is a nightmare in the rain, as we saw from the real-life 2019 German Grand Prix. As Ricard
Yes,
goes...
but for the viewers though, it's probably one of the best things that can happen at wet races. It really just tests the drivers to the limit. I mean, that German Grand Prix this year was probably one of the best
crosses
races
the line
of
to
the
go
year.
1:23.9. Nobody else has said that time yet, so we don't know if that's fast or not.
It's not too bad. Normally it's about 10 to 12 seconds, I think, they lose with the intermediate tyres. So that's not a bad lap time if that's the case.
As the new Ferrari driver, Pete Poloni goes at 1:24.4. Not
Thomas
bad
Edwards
from him.
goes third. And Scott goes second in the Mercedes, so good lap time from him as well. CJ in the other Mercedes is just coming through to complete his lap.
And also Andy, Super Shippy, is going to cross the line through the final corner, and he goes a 1:25.3. But
CJ goes fastest
by 5/10.
Half a second. Oh, that's a great lap.
Yeah, good lap from him. As Johnny Davis, Mr. Shmee, is going to go across the line to go a 1:26.0.
Yes, and I think Ken had his lap disallowed because he hasn't set a lap time, but he's on his second lap on those intermediates. So I saw him on a lap earlier. He must have had it disallowed somewhere. He's just entering the stadium section once again. A few cars starting to head out. David Edgar's also, I think, got some technical issues. He's left the session. Wow, that Toro Rosso there of Ken, absolutely on the limit. Ran a little bit wide in the Sachs curve and had an awful lot of oversteer on the way out as he put the power down. Let's have a look what he could do as he crosses the line, and he goes fifth on a 24.5. So not a bad lap there. Just over a second off the ultimate pace at the moment. Another yellow flag in sector 3. I think that was Andy Ship, going off. No, he wasn't. It was someone else, but someone else has gone off. Bryce Faulkner also on his outlap now. As here comes the new guy, the McLaren of Matt Anderson. Really struggling the hairpin, ran very, very wide there. It's so difficult in these conditions to brake. He's still doing about 195, 200 miles an hour there, and you've got to brake down to about 40 for the apex, and it's so difficult in these conditions. So it's difficult enough in the dry to brake perfectly.
It looks like that Bryce Faulkner is going to the pits on his outlap. Interesting.
Yes, maybe it was him that ran off the track. Maybe he's got a little bit of damage.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe the conditions are improving. Who knows?
Looking at the onboard shot, it looks like it's still intermediate conditions as Leasing Mender. Matt is going across the final corner to the start-finish line. What will he get? He will do a 1:24.1. Basically 2, but yeah.
Yeah, so Nick Wynn now just about to enter the final sector in the Alfa Romeo.
Yep.
Got a racing seat this week.
Yep, also Neil going across the final corner as well, crossing the line to get a 1:25.9.
To put him into 8th position. We're only losing, big slide there from Nick in the second to last corner. We're only going to lose 2 from this session because there's only 17 drivers in this race, as Nick Wynn's lap was disallowed.
Yep, as
so
we have 4 goes
Dean
at 1:24.7 as well.
Yes, and I've got Dean in the Ferrari on a lap as well. He's just entering the final sector. Michael Savage, the last person to leave the pits. We've seen David Edgar out and spun. He's yet to set a lap time. Bryce Faulkner has also been out, but has gone straight back into the pits. So Michael Savage is the last person to venture out onto the track with 10 minutes to go. As Dean comes out of the final corner a little bit wide, but let's see what lap time he can produce. And he goes second on a 23.7.
Not bad lap time.
Good lap time, especially. Yeah, he lost a good tenth and a half in the final corner there as well. So he ran very, very wide. So,
I have to say, CJ Allen with a 1:23.4. That time doesn't look like it's going to be beat anytime soon for this session right now. So this will be more
No,
interesting.
that's a very, very good lap time. We saw, though, didn't we, in the last race, he is very, very fast.
Oh,
Made an
so was
error
it-
in the last races.
Look, Andy looks like he's been hit. He was hit to the wall. I think that's coming out of the hairpin, right? Yes, it is. It's coming out of the hairpin. He crashed into a wall there.
Yeah, not sure if maybe he got hit by someone. It's very easy. I mean, we've seen quite a few drivers struggling for grip, so it could just be he just had a lack of grip.
Yep, as Bryce Norton
So-
goes through to start his first line lap, or his second out lap, very, very soon. Through the second last corner, down to the final corner, and he will start his flying lap. Oh, yellow flag in
Yellow
sector
flag in
one.
sector. Michael Savage entering the... Michael Savage just hung on to that. Got onto the curb in the first corner in the stadium section. Got on the curb on the exit, so nearly lost it into the wall, but gathered it up. He's coming through to complete his flying lap, first flying lap. What can he do? Where will he put him? Great drive from him at the previous race, and his lap was also disallowed, so he's going to have to go again. But yeah, drive of the race for me in the last race at Silverstone for Michael Savage. Had a brilliant, brilliant race.
Yep.
So 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. Bryce Faulkner, David Edgar and Michael Savage. Bryce is on his lap, so is Michael Savage. David Edgar is out on his out lap. So 8 minutes to go. They're leaving it quite late, but let's see what they can do.
Yep, as
Bryce
Scott goes
Faulkner
into
about
pits.
to... Yes, and Neil's also got some issues, it seems, but he's in 9th. I think he's safe at the moment. Bryce Faulkner in the final sector.
Oh, look at Meat Dean. He goes on a soft tyre in the pits, apparently. It looks like it's dried up a bit. There doesn't seem to be that much rain anymore.
No, this will make it a very exciting last 5 minutes or so of the session. If the tyres are going soft, Bryce Faulkner goes 11th. It has stopped raining. I've noticed it had stopped raining, so the track is going to start drying out now. So we could have an absolute crazy last few minutes of the session as drivers try to improve.
Yep. Okay, we got Michael Savage crossing his line to go on 1 minute 24.6. Not a bad lap time from him, especially with the drying conditions out on track right now.
Yes, and I always think in these conditions sometimes when the track is going to be getting quicker and quicker, it would be kind of worth just getting out there with a few laps of fuel and just do a few installation laps and wait till the grip comes to you, rather than having to put all your eggs in one basket and go for it. On so you only need to run a little bit wide.
1 minute 24.5.
Yeah, so the 2 drivers who are currently going out of the session are Nick Wynn in the Alfa Romeo and Jabus John in the Williams. They're a little way off the pace. Nick is 1.3 seconds off of going through, and Jabus John, unfortunately, is 3.5 seconds away. But of course, in these drying conditions, if he gets out there now on a set of softs, a few drivers are thinking about it, because a few drivers are putting on soft tyres in the garage. So Jabus John has gone out on another set of intermediates.
Oh, Warrior Smile goes to 123.3 on the inter tyre. That time
yes, I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see the first drivers to go out on a set of softs. A few drivers have gone back out on intermediates, but they could be. Well, Scott's put on a set of mediums there, so that's an interesting move. You definitely wouldn't want mediums at the moment, and I'm watching Jabus John here.
Well, the Ferrari's has gone out, and it's Meat Dean. He goes out on the soft tyre, the first one to go out.
Yeah, so let's watch lap times tumble. I mean, I'm watching Jabus John in the Williams, and he is really, really struggling, clearly with tyres that are overheating. And he went out on the intermediates. It might be worth him just diving straight back in and put on a set of softs here and go for it, because
from Dean for a second there. He has to want the tyres ready for his lap. The track's definitely dry for sure.
And interestingly, Scott's gone out on a set of mediums.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's a brave decision.
Yeah, especially
that's a very brave decision.
Yeah, especially with everyone else going on the soft, especially when the medium tyre has a more harder time of heating up rather than the soft tyre. since the soft tyre heats up more easily.
Yes, and Jabus John is sticking with this. So I think that's not the wisest decision, I'm afraid. Got a few cars going out on softs now. I'm watching Dean in the Ferrari. Let's see what he can do. DRS has been enabled. That's usually the indicator. Another yellow flag in sector 1 might be Jabus John, I'm afraid. Yeah, it is. No, it's not.
It is Jabus John.
It is Jabus John. No, it's a and a Haas was struggling there as well. Johnny Davis was struggling as well, so I'm not sure if there was contact there.
Yep, as Dean goes for his first flying lap on the soft tyre. What lap?
How brave is he going to be into turn 1? Yeah, he did hill off quite a lot of speed there. So, but let's watch the first sector time. If he improves on it.
Burgos as well, down to the DRS section of the track. Very
6
long
cents
here.
up. He's 6 cents up, so they are getting there. The soft tyres are starting to come into the zone where they will be quicker.
Very
Not the
cautiously
ultimate
breaking
pace yet, of
down
course,
to the
because it's
hairpin as well.
still a little bit of water out there, but let's see what he can do. As Rickard and CJ have put on softs, and yeah, Rickard's gone out. So this is very easy when it's like this to go from 1st to 15th.
Yellow flags in sector 3. Who is it? It's Johnny Davis letting Dean go through sector 3, through the stadium section.
He's still struggling a little bit, but he's ultimately quicker. He's struggling a little bit for grip, but ultimately I think he is going to be quicker. This should be the fastest lap so far.
He goes.
As Dean goes across the line, a 1:20.6. Wow, 2.5 seconds, nearly 3 seconds quicker.
Yeah, that's nowhere near to the qualifying times when it's properly dry and sunny. Some drivers go in the 1 minute 11.6, as you said, in the Xtreme 1 League with the pole position that time. But
yes, and I'm watching the new guy, Matt Anderson, in the McLaren. He's on a second quicker than he was before in the first sector.
Ooh, but he does
so
overshoot the hairpin slightly.
He does. He's gone. Yeah, I think he's abandoned this lap, so he may have to go again.
Oh, Ryan Fori goes a 1 minute 20.8, 2/10 slower than Dean. As Rickard doesn't start his flying lap. That's interesting.
And Michael Savage, he's gone out on a set of mediums, and he's really attacking the curves there through turn 3.
Yeah,
so he's feeling a little bit more
confident. 1 minute 20.7 as well. Oh, Swifty Pickle.
And the lap times are tumbling.
Second. Yeah, look at Swifty Pickle. Neil, so 119.3. Lap times are definitely
and suddenly, for being 1st and 2nd, Rickard and CJ down to 6th and 7th now. So that's a good job they have come out. I mean, Andy's still not gone out there, and I don't think he's going to have time, so he may be out of qualifying here if people start improving. Let's have a look what Michael Savage can do. Middle sector, he's over 2 seconds quicker. He's currently 13th.
Scott goes a 1 minute 20.0 on the medium tyre. But
oh, look at that, David Edgar, 17.8.
Yeah, that's been demolished
the
very,
lap
very
times
quickly.
are absolutely tumbling.
Oh, as Neil gets blocked by Nick from his fast lap that time.
There will be words like that. Michael Savage goes 3rd, also breaking the 1 minute 20 barrier. Let's have a look. CJ and he's on his lap now.
He goes through the flying final corner, DRS opening, and he goes oh, it looks like it's been disallowed. No, it hasn't. He was a 5/10 slower. He now starts his proper fast flying lap now.
Nick Wynn goes 6th in the Alfa Romeo, 120.2.
Okay. Ooh.
So CJ though is nearly 4 seconds up on his previous best, so this should just about see him through. But of course, what you want to be here is one of the last to cross the line. Because the way the lap times are coming, Matt Anderson goes fastest, and now Dean goes fastest.
Yeah,
you want to be one of the last to cross the line here because the lap times are absolutely
CJ Allen and Ken are crossing the line right now. CJ Allen goes a 1 minute 16.6, and Ken goes a 1 minute 16.7. Very, very close that time.
And David Edgar's gone third. David Edgar's gone third. And who's that just jumped up? Oh, that's Johnny Davis, move up to 6th. I'm looking here, the only other Andy is out of qualifying, there's no doubt about it. But Jabers John here is on his flying lap.
He goes through the second last corner as well. Through the final corner.
He needs
really
this.
Making to Q2. He goes DRS activated. He goes a 1 minute 16.7.
Now Pete Bellini here is on the bubble, and Jabers John is improving. He's on his soft tyres, and it's Pete Bellini who is on a 1:22.5. The lap times are just flicking around everywhere on my screen here. Can Jabers John get it out of Q1 and get that Williams up?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. He goes 10. So we've got Pete Bellini and Andy Ship out of qualifying.
Pete Bellini wouldn't be
great effort
expecting
from
to go
John
out
there.
of Q1 that quickly, especially with the new promotion up to Ferrari.
Yes, he'll be very, very disappointed with that.
So that's the end of Q1 right now. With CJ Allen going fast with a 1 minute 16.6. Ken right behind him with a 16.7. Rickard behind them with Bryce Faulkner, Rian Foray, Dean, David Edgar, and Matt, Johnny Davis, and the lucky person, Javis Sean, going 10th after being the last car out on track.
Well, that's what we were saying earlier. Get out on track at the right time, and that can happen. And he timed it perfectly, got himself into 10th position. I think that's the first time he's made Q2 as well so far. So excellent effort from John there.
Right.
So there we see confirmation. The lap times are just falling away, and but 3 cars out. So see, he appears to be losing 3. Nick Wynn also out, and Pete Bellini and Andy Ship in the Alfa Romeo, the only cars not to go out on a set of dries.
That's
so
interesting
we
because
only have
Nick
14.
has set a faster lap time than most of the drivers here. Look, he set a 1 minute 19.1, while the 14th driver set a 1 minute 20.1 as well. So that's interesting. I don't know what happened to him, but he's out of qualifying, and now there's only 14 drivers that go into Q2. Dry session once again. Some people will be looking to qualify on the medium tyre to go from a medium to hard strategy. If that's not possible, then people on the soft tyre will have to go on 2-stop with maybe with soft medium mediums or soft medium hards. As the McLaren goes on track first.
Yes, that's Thomas Edwards.
That's Thomas Edwards goes
Heading
out
straight.
first.
Yes, and I've lost sound on my screen. Seems to be happening a lot to people at the moment, but
Apparently,
anyway, we'll keep going.
According to the chat, Scott has gone for a wet setup. So apparently he'll be slow during the race.
So yeah, well, that will be an interesting one. I mean, unless it rains, unless they forecast rain for the race, I can't see how that's going to benefit him really. But who knows? He might end up with quite a lot of grip, and he might be quite quick. So you never know.
Well,
So a few cars now heading out. Thomas Edwards, we got Rickard out, Scott, Michael Savage, Rian Foray. The other McLaren's also gone out, and Dean as well in the Ferrari. They're all starting to come out of the pits now. David Edgar also out, but Thomas Edwards will be the first one to cross the line. So a lot of work going on that steering wheel there through the final sector. He really seems to be having to really push that car hard to get it into the corners. Into turn 1, a lot of curb, but gets away with it. Runs a little bit wide on the exit, but that's okay. Down into turn 2, hard braking zone there. DRS zone now, of course, between turns 1 and 2. Out onto the back straight. A little bit of traffic ahead of him. Hopefully that will get out of the way. Over 200 miles an hour. It's one of the racing points. I think it's Neil.
Gets out of the way, but
completely off track.
Yeah, but
let
Thomas
him
Edward
through.
did get a low curb out on the exit of the hairpin, so that won't be beneficial for his lap time at the most as well.
And of course, where this track is still drying, it may not be completely up to speed yet.
Yep, as the drivers on the medium tyre are Ken, Dean, Rian Fore, and Ricard. So this will be interesting to see how they do. Also, CJ Allen in the pits has just swapped to the medium tyre compound as well.
Yes, and Thomas Edward goes fastest on a 14.7. So I don't think it's completely up to speed yet. We were seeing lap times in the 1:12s and 13s earlier on. So I don't think it's completely up to speed yet. Let's have a look. This is John coming through the last couple of corners. Let's see what he can do as he crosses the line. And that has not been allowed. So
Rian Fore also crosses the line to go on 1:13.6 on the medium compound tyre. But
great lap time.
beats him by 5/10.
Yes, and Ricard goes second. So they're all starting some set lap times. Here comes Matt Anderson in the McLaren. First qualifying session.
And also
was
Scott
very
as
quick
well.
And he goes seventh. He must. Yeah, I think Matt made a mistake on his laps. He only does a 1:15.8. So bit of an error there somewhere.
Yep, as Johnny Davis also crosses the line to go a 1 minute 14.5.
And Neil's now coming through to complete his first flying lap in the Racing Point, which has shown good speeds in the previous races. And he goes, look at that, 1:12.5. That's
impressive lap from
lap
him.
Time.
Yeah, impressive lap time from him.
Even though he is on the quicker tyres, I mean, that's still a very quick lap time.
Yeah, definitely. As Javis John crosses the final corner. Yellow flags in all 3 sectors. That's interesting. Right, okay. We go across the line with Javis John. He goes on 1 minute 15.4.
Yes,
as David Edgar crosses the line to start his first line lap of the session. Interestingly, CJ Allen, Ken and Bryce Faulkner go out on the outlaps on the medium compound tyre as well. Dean has a pretty impressive lap time with a 1 minute 13.1 on the medium tyre, but Neil beat that by 6 tenths a second. But with the soft compound tyre, but it's still impressive lap time from him.
Yeah, that's a very good lap time because I think there's about half a second between the softs and the mediums. So it would suggest they're very, very close on lap time with tyre adjusted. So very good job there from Neil. David Edgar coming through sector 2, flat out through this right-hander back out into the old stadium section. There's a car going slowly ahead of him. I think that is Neil. Hopefully he'll get out of the way.
Yep, Thomas Edward crossed the line to not improve on his lap time.
He's stayed out there, hasn't he? He's on his third lap now.
Yeah, that's interesting as well.
So, as here comes David Edgar, very quick in the first part of qualifying. What can he do this time? And he goes second. 1:12.9. That's an excellent lap time.
Yeah, not bad from him.
Waiting for the other 3 now to cross the line. The 3 cars all on the... CJ Allen, I think, has made a mistake somewhere, because I saw him on a very unusual part of the track. Here comes Ken in the Toro Rosso coming through the last couple of corners. Where is he going to go? It's a 1:15.4 to get into the top 10 at the moment, and Ken goes 6th on a 13.3. So very representative of the other medium tyre runners.
Yeah, as CJ Allen crossed the line to start his second flying lap. I think his first one was invalidated, so he took it slow. But
Here
Bryce
Faulkner,
Faulkner,
the last one to set a lap time. Or to complete a lap, he goes 9th on a 14.4. Well, he could be in trouble there. Especially if the likes of Johnny Davis and Thomas Edward... Oh, nearly contact there. Trying to see which one. That's Michael Savage, just come out of the pits in the Racing Point. But he is a 10th up, though, Bryce Faulkner. Somehow, despite having to go around that Racing Point, he's got a 10th faster in the first sector. If he's got the fuel, which I think he will have, because I can't see any warning lights on his display. So if he's got the fuel, he might be able to complete this lap and improve, because he could be in trouble there in 9th place.
Yep, as CJ Allen goes through to the middle of the stadium section. Goes through the left-right. Down to the second last corner. Try to get a good exit out of the last corner. What time will he get? Gets on the curve on the straight, and he goes a 1 minute 13.5. Not as fast as Dean, but he looks like he'll be in trouble for his lap time in Q2, which, yep, as we have for race
Bryce
switches
Faulkner
to the
improves
soft
by
as well.
a couple of tenths. He only improves by a couple of tenths, stays in 10th position. So, yeah, Rian Fori, I think, will be in trouble in 9th place. So, drivers at the moment not going through. Johnny Davis in the Haas, Thomas Edwards in the McLaren, Jabus John in the Williams, and Matt Anderson in the McLaren. He's gone out on another set of medium tyres. So, I mean, I think he did make a mistake on his first run, but he obviously feels he can improve. Despite, and so he's stuck with those medium tyres. Let's see. It's a brave decision. 6 minutes to go. If he makes another error, he could see himself out of qualifying here. So,
yeah,
and it's so close in that midfield. I mean, look at that. It's half a second separating 3rd and 9th. So it's a very, very congested midfield here. As always, I have to say, actually, with this league.
Yep, as according to the chat, the race looks like it will be dry. So, anyway, a dry race, especially like in Silverstone, could be very, very exciting. Action everywhere, as always. And as Michael Savage crosses the line to go fastest at 12.5, beats out his teammate, Swifty Pickle, Neil. It's a racing point 1-2. That's interesting. 7,000 as well.
7,000ths of a second between the two racing points. That is just, how close can you get there? That's brilliant. And Scott is also on his lap. He's in 5th at the moment in the Mercedes. So the only other people out on laps at the moment is Jabus John in the Williams, the McLaren of Matt Anderson, and Johnny Davis in the Haas. They're the only other people out on flying laps at the moment. Let's see what Matt Anderson can do. We're watching him at the moment. He's 2 seconds up, so that will put him, at the moment, that will put him just in the top 10.
Yeah, that's interesting as Scott goes through the final corner, crosses the line to go 1 minute 12.7. Still doesn't beat the racing points, about 2 tenths. Impressive performance from both racing points.
Yes, definitely. I mean, they could be ones to watch in the race, especially if they are starting on those tyres. As Matt Anderson goes 7th on a 13.4. So he slots himself into that very tight midfield pack. It's very, very tight there.
As Johnny
Davis running wide in the final corner. That will have cost him a bit of time. Can he improve? No, he doesn't.
By 5 seconds as well. I don't think that was a slow down lap.
So it might be going for it again on another lap. Here comes Jabus John in the Williams. He's gone out again on another set of soft tyres. Can he improve his lap time and his position? He's got to find about 7 tenths to improve his lap time, position, sorry. And he does improve, but not by enough. He stays 14th. Thomas Edwards also going out. He's gone out on the same set of soft tyres. So that's a brave decision to do that. And Ricard winding himself up for another lap. But it's so tight in there. If he improves by a 10.5, he'll go 8th. And in fact, he's pitting. So he'll go up 2 places. Sorry. But anyway, he's pitting, as is the McLaren.
Yep, as David Edgar goes on the outlap on the medium compound tyre. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's already set a lap time on those, but he's gone out on a brand new set. Here comes Johnny Davis in the Haas coming through the final corner. Going slowly, though, so I think he's winding himself up for another crack at this.
No, he isn't. He's breaking down slowly as well. That is not a fast lap time. Whoa.
And he's off.
Whoa.
So Bryce Faulkner going out on a set of softs. So let's see if he can improve. We've got just under 3 minutes to go. At the moment, it's Bryce Faulkner, Johnny Davis, Thomas Edwards and Jabus John in the drop zone. Thomas Edwards just starting his lap on quite a worn set of soft tyres. I mean, if he does make it through on these tyres, he's going to have to pit very, very early. Because we saw from the X1 race earlier on, the cars were having to pit after about 4 or 5 laps with those soft tyres.
Yeah, the softs do not last
He's already done 4 laps on them.
Yeah, as Michael Savage is also out on the medium compound tyre, despite setting a fast lap time on the soft tyre. It looks like he wants to qualify on the medium tyre so he can get a good strategy out of this race.
But the only way he'll be starting on the medium tyres is if he improves his lap time on them. And that'll be an impressive effort to go quicker on the mediums than he went on the softs. Yep, makes you wonder how much more speed is in there if he does.
Yep, as he crosses his slow lap to start on the medium compound tyre. Let's look at the other members of the field. We've got Johnny Davis crossing a line to not improve his outlet on lap time as well. As yikes, he goes a bit wide, Johnny Davis.
Thomas Edwards coming through the last couple of corners and he's going into the pit. So he's given up on that. So he looks like he will be out. Likewise, Jabus John. So the only people really that can improve right now are Johnny Davis. We've already seen him make a couple of errors. And Bryce Faulkner in the Toro Rosso. He's out on a set of soft tyres. We're watching him now in the middle sector. Can he improve on his lap time? He's got to find 0.6 of a second to get himself out of the drop zone. But he's 5.5 tenths up in the middle sector. So it is possible. But it's so... Look how close it is between 7th and 10th. Is just a 1/10.5. It's incredibly tight there.
Yep, as
Ryan
Bryce
Forey
Faulkner
got out on a set of
goes through the
softs
second
as well.
last corner and through the last corner. He needs to get better than his lap time, and he goes, on the bubble
just
there.
into the top 10.
Yeah, on the
yes,
bubble
but Ryan Forey has gone out on a set of softs, so he may well have a chance. Rickard also gone out on a set of softs. He doesn't feel safe in the Haas. He's in 8th position, and but he's only a 1/10.5 away from dropping out of qualifying altogether. So, understandably, he's gone out on a set of soft tyres. He's on his lap now. Let's see if he is improving as he comes through to complete the second sector of the lap. And he's 4.5 tenths up, so that will see him comfortably through. That will put him near David Edgar in 4th place.
Yep.
And Michael Savage didn't improve his lap time, so he's going to start on the soft tyres, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Rickard comes through the final corner, and he crosses the line, and he goes into 3rd, a 1:12.7, just ahead of Scott. So a good lap time from him. Bryce Faulkner isn't going to improve. It's Ryan Forey we're watching here as he comes across the line to complete his lap. Can he get himself into... Yes, he does. He goes 6th.
CJ Allen very, very, very close to be dropping down into where he can't qualify for pole, especially with his pace.
Well, he'll be perfectly safe though. Bryce Faulkner's gone into the pits, and Johnny Davis is 9 seconds down on his lap. So
Michael Savage didn't improve his lap time on the medium tyre. He pitted on his flying laps, so it doesn't look like it.
Yes, he. Well, I mean, it would have been a fantastic effort to improve his lap time on the mediums, but he doesn't. So the 4 cars dropping out of qualifying here after qualifying 2. It's Bryce Faulkner in the Toro Rosso. He starts 11th. Johnny Davis in the Haas. He will start in 12th place. Thomas Edwards will start 13th in the McLaren. And Jabus John in the Williams 14th. Not too far off the pace though, Jabus John. There is some encouragement from that. And of course he'll be delighted to be into Q2 as well. A 1:15.0. Only a couple of tenths off of Thomas Edwards. So it could be a good race between those two. And of course don't forget we've got Pete Polini starting behind them in the Ferrari. And Andy Shipp in the Alfa Romeo. Both of whom have been very quick in the previous races. So it could be a great battle to see who can come through the field there. But very impressive by the 2 racing points. You've got to say, 1st and 2nd, very, very impressive. They really did look like they were making progress in the previous race in Silverstone, didn't they? And they're confirming that here by being quicker, and quicker by a couple of tenths as well. It's not like they've only just scraped through. I mean,
Yeah.
Ricard has been one of the quickest drivers of the season so far, and he went out on soft tyres, was still 2/10 slower than them. So
Look at that
very, very good
1-2.
here.
Oh, have you realised that Worthius, Smile, and Scott have set the just like, actually, never mind. But look at the 2 racing points. Pole, first and second. 2/10 off the third
7,000 of a
car.
second. It's incredible.
Yeah. So now it's Q3 now. The track is still gone very, very dry. People are going to try to set their fastest lap times in this session so far. Who do you think is going to be the favourite for pole position? Because it seems very, very tightly packed and it's basically unpredictable.
Well, I mean, judging on that, I think the 2 racing points you can't really look past them. They look like to have speed in hand. One of the Haas cars, I think, is going straight. Sorry, it's a Red Bull. Sorry, going straight out. That's Rian Fori. But the 2 racing points do look like they have this covered at the moment, unless the others were sandbagging.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I have no game sound as well, so this is going to be interesting. As Rian Fori goes out for his outlap. Who else is going to go for that?
Michael Savage as well.
Yep, as also the Haas of Ricard, the other racing point of Neil, and McLaren of Matt. Go out there. Oh, look, there's front wing damage. Leasing man. Oh, 5-place grid penalty. With collision to Neil for Matt.
Yes, so contact there. I'm not quite sure what happened, but
he's also got front wing damage
that's
as
such a shame
well.
for him. And so he's gonna have to come straight back in the pits. That's a shame because he was could have been a dark horse for pole position there, I think, because he was looking very quick in that McLaren.
Yep, CJ
But
Allen
5-place
also
grid
goes
penalty.
out for his first flying lap as well. This is going to be interesting, especially with Matt getting a 5-place grid penalty, also with front ring damage for collision with the racing point of Neil.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I'm sure there'll be some comments about that after the race.
Yep, as so the first car out on track was we have Fori as he goes out for his flying lap as well, going down to turn 2, then down to turn 3. Very, very fast. Very, very fast straight down here. Slightly curved to the left. Very, very huge braking point down into the hairpin. Try to get a best exit round here. Real Fori looks pretty clean right now on the onboard shots. Down into towards the grandstand. Left, right.
Watching Ken at the moment in the Toro Rosso, he's got that car very, very well set up. Really brilliant direction change into turn 1 and absolutely flat through turn 3. So who's going to be the first one to set a lap time?
Yeah, Real Fori is going to be the first one to set a lap time. This will be the benchmark for the rest of the drivers. Left, right, down to the second last corner. Going a bit wide through the second last corner, and he goes wide towards the run for the last corner. The RS activated now, and he goes a 1 minute 12.5. Not a bad lap time from him. Sector 2 flags and sector
No,
2.
especially with the mistakes in the last couple of corners. Ken nearly lost it coming into the stadium section. Just ran a little bit wide. And how did he catch that? Ricard goes fastest. But brilliant car control. And Ken's given up on his lap. So actually now the racing points don't look as quick, do they? Ricard's gone fastest. Michael Savage 4th. Watching CJ now in the Mercedes. He is coming into the final section now.
David Edgar goes
what can he do? We saw he was very quick at Silverstone. Can he maintain that here?
David Edgar crosses the line to go 1 minute 12.3.
That's a good lap time as well. Puts him on the front row as things stand. Here comes CJ Allen, a little bit wide in the final corner. Might just get away with that. And he goes fastest to 112.1. Good lap time from him. Will we see cars getting into the 1 minute 11s? We saw that in the Xtreme 1 league. Will we see it here as Scott is on his flying lap now as well?
It seems like
as
his
Matt Anderson also heading back out on track. So
yeah, man, Anderson, very, very bad luck on getting a 5-place grid penalty. The highest position he can possibly go now is 5th if he qualifies on pole. but that doesn't really look likely, as we could probably see Chris Allen probably taking pole position. But as you know, it's pre-credence and things are unpredictable in this X2 league. So meet Dean and Matt are on their outlaps, but Matt is now going through the final corner to start his flying lap as well.
Yes, and don't forget earlier on, Scott said he
Oh,
had his
but
wet setup on and he was going to be slow, but he's made it into Q3 and he looks to be on a very good lap. I have to say, that wet setup does seem to be giving him very good grip. As I say that, he runs wide, but does seem to be giving him very good grip, but he does a 12.9, so it does seem to be down a little bit, or maybe on ultimate straight line speed, as Matt Anderson in the McLaren is on his flying lap.
he did cut turn 1, so I think his lap was invalidated. As you can see from the ERS, it's down to 0. So hopefully he has enough fuel to start his second flying lap as well. Because mostly...
Yes, and Dean in the Ferrari about to start his flying lap as well. But it's very, very strict here. We saw this in the race earlier on, didn't we? It's very, very strict here, the corner cutting regulations. It's stricter here than any other race so far.
Yeah, Canada is also one of those. Yeah, Canada is also one of those tracks, and like Germany, to have very, very strict corner cutting rules around here, especially through the chicane in Canada, as Matt starts his first flying lap, proper flying lap this time.
Dean's done a very good first sector, a 15.7. That's right up there with the quickest of the session so far. That's a good first sector time from Dean.
Yep.
Can he get himself in that little party up there? It's only half a tenth really between CJ and Rickard up front. So
Michael
Neil's
Savage
going back out and Michael Savage.
Yep.
Not quite sure what's happened to the Racing Points. They look so quick in Q2, and there seems to be a little bit off the pace. Maybe they went out on old tyres, maybe, but they're not quite as quick as they were in Q2. Fourth and sixth at the moment.
Yep, as Dean goes through the very, very left, right as well, down to the second last corner, final corner. Get a good exit, power exit around here on the curb. DRS activated to cross the line to a pole position of 111.9. The first man to go down into the 111s. Great lap time from him.
Great lap. Very good lap. As here comes Matt Anderson in the McLaren. He's coming through the final corner. Little bit wide in the final corner. A little bit of gravel kicked up on the exit. And he stays ninth on a 1:13.2.
He looks like he's
so only one person to set a lap time, and that is Ken, who had damage earlier. Oh, no, he abandoned his lap, earlier on. He made a mistake coming into the stadium section and chose to just drive straight into the pits. So we've got a few cars now heading back out. Neil is on to his quick lap. Both Racing Points on to their quick lap. Let's see if they can improve. Here is Neil in the first sector, and he has improved by half a tenth in the first sector. What about Michael Savage is coming into the stadium section now.
Yeah, but Ken, look at Ken. He goes through the second last corner. Try to get a tidy line through the last corner. Power down on the curb on the exit. Seems to go, and it's a 1:12.2. Very, very fast that time.
Puts him onto the second row. Here comes Michael Savage. Can he improve? He goes sixth on a 1:12.4. So definitely those Racing Points not as quick as we thought.
Yep.
Neil is a tenth and a half up. This could move him on to possibly row 2 if he can have a good final sector. So Rickard, our early pace setter, slipped down to 4th place. But he is going to be on a lap. 3 minutes of qualifying to go as Neil crosses the line. And he stays in 7th place. But still only 9 thousandths of a second separating those two Racing Points. That's incredibly tight between those two.
Yeah, very, very, very exciting. Anyway, so we got Rickard also going through the left, right of the sector 3 to the second last corner. Once again, keep saying that all the time. Final corner. And he crosses the line.
He crosses the line and he doesn't improve. A fraction off. He might have enough time, possibly. Well, no, I don't think he will have enough time to come back and put another set of tyres on. So that could be it for Rickard, unless he's got enough fuel to do a slow lap and then do one more quick lap on those tyres. David Edgar starting his flying lap. And Michael Savage has gone again. I think he's going to do another flying lap because he was 6 seconds down on that lap. So I think he obviously went out with a few laps of fuel on board.
It doesn't look like there's enough ERS for that though. As,
no, he looks very low on ERS, isn't he? But let's see what he does in the first sector. You know, he's quite a way off, so I don't think he'll be improving. Neil's gone into the pits, so 7th is as good as he's going to get for him.
Improved by 4/10 of a second, so this will be interesting to see how far he goes up the field. 4/10 can probably get him up to 6th or 7th, but it depends how fast his sector 3 is. DRS activated across the line to go at 1 minute 12.4. So yes,
and David Edgar's done a slow lap on these tyres, and I saw him weaving down one of the little straights just before the stadium section, so he's going to go for another lap. Michael Savage is still 6 seconds off, so I think that is as good as he's going to get for him as well. Rian Fori is out. He's only a fraction off in the first sector off his best. So let's see what he's got. Another new set of soft tyres. Likewise, Matt Anderson. We saw him make a couple of little errors on his first flying lap here in Q3. So let's see. Dean is obviously feeling very confident because he hasn't gone out again. He's stayed in the pits and it's too late now. So he's obviously feeling very, very confident about his lap time.
But can CJ Allen change that? This will be interesting. To the DRS straight, very, very long, slightly curved to the left. Of course, usually, like back in the early 2000s and before that, the race course went. Oh, what happened?
Rian Fori's gone 5th.
Oh, as
so
Neil gets a snap of oversteer as well. But he's on his flying lap, so he's on his out lap, so I think he's going to be fine. But there's only 17 seconds left of the session to go, so Neil won't have enough time to go out on a final flying lap again. CJ Allen.
No, and look out for CJ Allen. He's 2/10 up in the middle sector. That would be enough as things stand to put him into pole position. Can he do it? Coming through the last couple of corners, keep it neat and tidy, lovely in the final corner. As CJ Allen crosses the line.
He doesn't
improve.
He does
improve.
He does improve by a slight bit, but that's not enough to meet Dean. As Matt Anderson.
Oh, Matt Anderson's got 2nd.
Dark Horse comes from 10th all the way up to 2nd. Great lap time from him. That's a 1 minute 12.0. But unfortunately,
this is what I love about this league. Look at this, half a second cover the top 10. It's incredible. So tight. As Ken is slightly up on his best at the moment. At the moment, I know he's slowing down. He's slowing down. He's yes.
Oh,
so he's not going to improve. Rickard is on a lap as well. I don't think he's going to improve. He's the last one out there on a lap. I don't think he's going to improve. No, he's coming in the pits. So we have our race order. Our qualifying order, sorry. Dean on pole position. What a lap from Matt Anderson to stick it on the front row in the McLaren. CJ Allen, he looked quick and he must have just made a little error. He was quicker than Dean in the first 2 sectors, but he must have made a little error in the final sector. He starts 3rd. Ken in the Toro Rosso, another strong qualifier from him. He is 4th. Rickard 5th in the Haas. Rian Fori 6th for Red Bull. David Edgar 7th. Scott 8th. Michael Savage 9th and Neil 10th. Those 2 racing points after looking so strong in Q2 just couldn't get it together in Q3 and end up starting on row 5.
Also, don't forget that Matt Anderson does have a 5-place grid penalty, so he won't be starting on the front row anymore. He will be starting in 7th place.
Yes, he will. So,
but look how close the gaps are between the top 10. 5
I know, less than half a second between them. It's incredible. It's going to be, I mean, we saw this at Silverstone, didn't we? The first 4 or 5 at the start of the race, nose to tail. The way it's looking here, it looks like it's going to be exactly the same. What a race we're going to be in for here.
Yep. As we go into the race. This will be interesting.
It will indeed. Welcome to the race, everyone. The German Grand Prix, long history for Germany in Formula One. Of course, it's produced some of its greatest drivers in history. Michael Schumacher, Sebastian Vettel, all have, between them, have won 11 world championships. The German Grand Prix has actually started way back, nearly 100 years ago. It's only ever been at 3 racetracks in its history. Nürburgring, the old Avis Ring, and of course Hockenheim. Michael Schumacher is the most successful driver in history here, tied with Lewis Hamilton with 4 wins each, and Ferrari have won here 21 times. As Jar said earlier, the track was redesigned back in 2002. It used to be an incredibly long track, over 4 miles long, but now it's just under 3 miles. 3 DRS zones for everyone to look out for. We've got one along the pit straight, one between turns 1 and 2, and then down to the hairpin at turn 6. And the lap record to keep an eye out for is a 1:13.780, set all the way back in 2004 by Kimi Räikkönen, then in a McLaren, of course. So, what a race we're going to be in for here if qualifying is anything to go by. Half a second separated the top 10 in qualifying 3. And, well, we've had some incredible races in this league already this season. We look set for another one, don't we, Jar?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going to be interesting, especially with the top 10 being covered by 5/10. Also, look out for Pete Poloni, the new promoted Ferrari driver, who looked like he was going to be fast around here, but got knocked out in Q1, down to 16th. So it seems like to be a recovery drive for him.
Yes, and likewise as well, Andy Shipp in the Alfa Romeo. Those who start at the back, 16th and 17th, got caught out by the rain in Q1, and Andy didn't even go out on the soft tyres, did he, at the end of Q1? So he definitely got caught out there. Thought he was safe.
Yep, this is the starting order.
He wasn't.
For today, Dean lines up first along with Chris Allen, but Ferrari and Mercedes on the front row. Ken starts third with Ricard Rianfori in the Red Bull. David Edgar starts for Renault in the top 10. Matt Anderson, sadly for him, he qualified in the front row but got a 5-place grid penalty for contact with Neil, who is down in 10th. Scott on the wet setup is starting 8th with Michael Savage, the podium place finisher last race with Neil, as I said before, making contact with Matt Anderson. Bryce Faulkner starts 11th with Johnny Davis, Thomas Edwards, James John, Nick Wynn, and N7 Maverick. Pete Poloni starts 16th with sadly starting back at the grid along with Andy Super Shippy on the back row. So this will be interesting for the race, definitely. So,
It certainly will. Look out for that turn 1. It's a very, very fast turn 1. Probably one of the fastest turn 1s on the calendar. And we've seen in both races so far this weekend, we've seen incidents down there into turn 1. So, in fact, you were one of them, unfortunately, weren't you, on the Talk of the Devil race yesterday, Charles? So, it's very, very easy to end up just running a little bit wide, hitting another car on the outside, and spinning out and taking 2 or 3 with you.
Yep. Unlucky for me, I started on pole and went down to 18th on the first corner. Anyway, so we will be
I didn't mind. I started 8th and ended up 3rd, thanks to you. So thank you very much.
Okay. I mean, I did have a recovery drive to 5th, so I'm happy with that. Especially with my second pole for Ferrari. Anyway, so looks like we're going to start the race very, very soon. Let's have a look. So, as we can see, CJ Allen, what looks like he will be on the front row tonight. Seems to be very, very fast around here. A Ferrari on pole and a Mercedes in second, while a mysterious Toro Rosso in third.
Yes. And look out for Matt Anderson, I'd say, coming back through the field as well from 7th on the grid. And of course, like we said earlier, look out for Pete Pellini and Andy Shipp at the back. They'll be wanting to come through as well. It should be an exciting race. The last 3 certainly have been. And here we go. I still have no car sound, unfortunately, on my TV. But here we go. 5 lights are on. Lights out. Away we go. It's a good start there from Dean at the front. But TJ's coming up the inside into turn 1. That's a great start for me. Oh, there's contact. Rickard has hit into the back again. I think he's got some damage. But CJ has gone into the lead. Sunny starts. Oh, there's a Red Bull on the grass there down into turn 2. I think that was Rian Fori trying to avoiding action.
Look at the racing point between Rian Fori and Neil. The McLaren looks like...
As they come down, look at this. They're all slipstreaming each other. There is such a queue there. I think that's Neil in 6th place. There's a Mercedes. I think it's Scott trying to get up the inside as Ken has made contact with Dean as well. I think there's a little bit of damage. And they're all jostling for position. I think Ken's got a little bit of damage. He tried to get up the inside of Dean into the hairpin, but the top 4 getting away. Rian Fori up into 5th. Thomas Edwards up into 6th in the McLaren. What a start from him.
Great start from him.
Down the field.
The biggest losers, however, is Rickard and Matt Anderson. Matt Anderson's got throwing damage once again with Rickard in 17th.
Oh, and there's a racing point. I think that was Neil running wide into the hairpin. He just about got away with it. But CJ leads at the end of lap 1. Scott Mercedes is up to 2nd. What a start from him. He started 8th on the grid, and Scott is up into 2nd place. Ken is 3rd. Dean is down to 4th. From pole position, Rian Fori up to 5th. Thomas Edwards, he'll be delighted with that. He's up to 6th place in that McLaren. What a start.
Have a look at Andy. He started on the back row of the grid, and he's up now into up to P8 as Rickard has to go into the pits. I'm guessing a front wing damage. Oh no, yeah, he has a front wing damage.
Yes, and also Pete Pellini from 16th on the grid is up into 10th place. So what a start from those two, both of them starting on the soft tyres. So CJ Allen now leads by 1.2 seconds from Scott.
Scott having a Ken is with
very good start. Mercedes 1-2. Oh, Ken's run very wide coming out of the fast chicane just before the stadium section. He is still just about hanging on to 3rd, and I think that's Neil with the problem.
Yellow flags.
Neil's gone off the track. Yes, Neil's gone off the track. Neil and Andy, I think, have had contact. So they now dropped to 14th and 15th, and Neil's got some damage. He's off. He is off the track.
David Edgar's also off as well. He's lost a lot of positions there.
Yes, it's all happening once again. Bryce Faulkner up into 9th place.
Look at the battle for the podium, however. 3rd, 4th, 5th, Rian Fori, Dean and Ken. Of course, no DRS yet, but Dean looks like he will have to go for an overtake.
The DRS is activated this lap.
Yep, they
penalty for Andy Shippey. The DRS
Dean
for
goes down
Dean. Does he have enough? Just about good. Just about managed to slow it down.
Oh, but Ken
coming back with a great run out of the hairpin. This is going to be close wheel to wheel through this little right hand. There's really a nothing corner, but Dean just about sweeps around the outside. Rian Fori looking to see if he can pounce as well. Johnny Davis having a good start as well. He's up into 8th place as Pete Pellini's moved up into 6th now in the other Ferrari.
Great start for him, up 10
But shout out to
positions.
Thomas Edwards doing a great job there in 7th place in that McLaren, just ahead of Johnny Davis and Bryce Faulkner 9th. Michael Savage rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, don't forget the battle between Dean, Ken and Rian Fori. As Rian Fori and Ken both have DRS to catch up to Dean as fast as possible.
Yes, a lot of drivers have made a stop on those first couple of laps. The bottom 5, David Edgar after his spin decided to pit. Likewise, Rickard, 2nd race in a row. Rickard's had damage on the first lap and had to pit early. Andy Shipp as well. Neil in the racing point and Nick Wheatley, the other Alfa Romeo. All
Matt's got a time penalty.
pitted. Yes, Matt Anderson with a time penalty.
Matt looks like he will be
overtaking. Oh, and look, Ken having a little look there on the inside of Dean, and he's outbraked himself. Rian Fori, can he pounce on that? Not quite. But Ken thought about a move up the inside, pulled out of it at the last second. And look at that, Rickard making a point there. Fastest lap by an absolute country mile. But meanwhile, up the front, CJ's got nearly a 3-second lead now over Scott, who's now starting to come under pressure from Dean. Dean's been sucked into this battle now behind, with Ken and Rian Forey also in there going at it hard behind them in 4th and 5th. Pete Polini, look out for him. He's now in a bit of clear air. Can he start to close the gap? He's on the medium tyres, so you would think a more optional strategy for him.
Yep.
But CJ leads by exactly 3 seconds across the line from Scott. Dean now really starting to put pressure onto Scott. Could there be a bit of a team game here? Could Scott be trying to slow that Ferrari?
Yeah, Scott is on the soft tyre.
He thought about it.
Scott goes a bit wide for that though, as Dean was saying, what's having a better exit. Don't forget about Rio Forey and Ken though. Ken and Rio Forey both have DRS. And Dean looks like he's going to go down the outside of the set, and it looks like Scott has let him through. Oh, but Ken goes wide for the hairpin.
Yes, he had a lot more straight line speed. Ken still hanging on to 4th, and there's Pete Polini in the background. He's closing on a lot of them.
Yeah.
In 6th place, but this is a great battle going on here. Once again, CJ just screaming off into the distance with a 4-second lead, but Dean on those medium tyres. I think maybe the soft tyres of Scott are starting to fade a little bit. We saw this in the previous races. After 4 or 5 laps, they do start to fade. He's now starting to come under pressure once again from Ken and Rian Forey behind them.
Scott did make out a point that he is running a wet setup, so he seems. So of course he's going to have more wing for the rain. So this will be bad for him on the straights. So Ken has DRS also along with Rian Forey catching up to Scott. Scott trying his hardest to beat. Oh, as Ken goes, that's a 3-second time penalty. But Ken will go down the. No, he doesn't go down there.
He backed out of that one.
Yep. As so he'll have IERS.
Now I think he's going to come under pressure. I think from Ken down this straight.
Yeah, Ken makes an easy pass down the inside.
Can Rian Forey pounce as well? He's having a think about it, but he backs out of it right at the end. So there's been good battle going on here for 7th and 8th. Thomas Edwards and Johnny Davis with Bryce Faulkner, and also the recovering Matt Anderson also in there. So we've got McLaren's sandwiching this battle here. 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. And Johnny Davis thought about going around the outside, backed out of it right at the end. So, but Thomas Edwards, this is a good drive from him, good start. He's had a few problems in previous races, but he's sitting here in a points-paying position at the moment in 7th place and holding up this little train of cars. And I've got to say as well, a good race so far for James John in 11th position in that Williams. He's had a good start, kept himself out of trouble as Scott and Rian Forey both pit. 2 of the cars who started on the soft tyres. They've made it to the end of lap 6 and now they've decided to pit. Yellow flag in sector 3. Not quite sure why. Oh, that's James John. This was saying how well he's doing. James John goes off coming through the Sachs curve. So he's not going to get the battle
between 6th and 7th and 5th as Johnny Davis locks up down into turn 2. Oh, but look at Johnny Davis.
Thomas Edwards now up into...
Great run through. As he goes on the outside, very easy overtake from Johnny Davis. But look at Bryce Walker. Will he go down the inside? He goes down the inside. But Johnny Davis goes wide.
Oh, that was brave. And Johnny Davis has run wide as well. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there. Surely Thomas Edwards will let his teammate go. But Bryce Faulkner now is taken 5th. Johnny Davis has lost the place to Bryce Faulkner as he makes another lock up there, Johnny Davis. But Bryce Faulkner in 2 corners has climbed up 2 places to 5th. So, and a yellow flag in sector 1.
And
not quite sure. Now that's Nick Wynn.
Alfa Romeo.
Nick Wynn has spun into turn 1. So just as the leader comes through.
Have a look at the battle control.
And he's gone again. He's gone again into turn 2. So 2 swings in 2 corners of Nick Wynn at the back of the field.
Don't forget about this battle
once again, a lot of action going on
between the 2 McLarens as Matt will try and make a recovery. DRS for Matt Anderson, making conservative, try to get a bare exit. He goes a bit wide for turn 2, however. And bare exit with a... Thomas Edwards seems to have a hard time of getting the power down for this main straight as he easily gets... as Thomas Edwards easily gets swallowed up by Matt Anderson.
Yes, Johnny Davis here closing back up on Bryce Faulkner. This is the battle now for 5th position. Scott and Ryan Forey, by the way, came out in 9th and 10th places. James John's mistake kept him quite a long way behind him in the end. So they've come out still in the points, and they may have to stop again on those medium tyres. We'll have to see. There's a long way to go on that single set of tyres. But CJ Allen now leads by 4.5 seconds from Dean. Kent, he's dropped back a little bit in 3rd. Likewise, Pete Polini in 4th. And then we've got this battle going on here between Bryce Faulkner and Johnny Davis, who seems to have difficulty slowing that car down. I've seen 4 or 5 little lock-ups from him. And Matt Anderson coming back at him again as well in 7th place. And just behind that is Thomas Edwards, still having a good drive in 8th position. So, and the 2 cars who pitted are not far behind. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. I'll go and try and see what that is.
It's Michael Savage.
Yes, Michael Savage is off. So it's all falling apart here for Racing Point, isn't it? They look so good in Q2, and he's again off. He's got overheated rear tyres. It's easy to do. If you make one spin, it's easy to have another one. Those rear tyres really do struggle.
About his traction off a corner, as it will be easy for him to spin around, especially with this overheated medium tyre. But look at Johnny Davis. Look at the battle between 6th and 7th, side by side.
Oh my goodness me, how did they not connect there? I have no idea.
Johnny Davis keeps locking up.
He does, but I mean, he swept around the outside very, very bravely there and just about got through as Rickard is on the move up into 11th place. Can he get some points?
He is 70 seconds away from the next car, though. There's still a battle.
As Ken pits from 3rd. A penalty for David Edgar, but Ken from 3rd position pits. So first of the leaders here to pit.
He goes on the soft tyre.
And he goes on to soft, so he will
Wait, he's not going
again.
out. He's not going out. He's not going out of the pits. What's happened to him? And he goes out.
Problem with the clutch, maybe.
That will lose him
so
a lot of
time. Well, that's cost him a lot of time there.
And that's let Ryan Forey through.
Yes, I think it would have been very close with Ryan Forey anyway, but he definitely got about 5 seconds in all that.
Was going to try and make through all the traffic, especially when he's pitted already. Thomas Edwards has DRS, however, as Scott very hard braking. So
yes, Matt Anderson's just got ahead of Johnny Davis, just ahead of them. So, well, this is an incredible battle. Thomas Edwards in 7th place now, on the tail of Johnny Davis. He's got the 2 cars who pitted early, Scott and Ryan Forey, right behind him in the battle for. This is 7th place because Scott. Yes, Scott and Rhiann's going for up the inside. Oh, just about backed out of that one. But these two, these two need to get through this traffic as quick as possible. They're losing a lot of time now because, of course, they were right up there in the leading battle earlier on, and now they're being held up badly by Thomas Edwards. And Scott a little bit wide again in the last 2 corners, so he is struggling to get some traction in the dirty air of that McLaren. And of course that McLaren of Thomas Edwards ahead of them is being helped. They all run a little bit like there, but he's being helped enormously because he's in the DRS of the car in front as Rhiann gets ahead. And Scott backs out of that one, but he's got Thomas Edwards just ahead, has got the DRS of the Haas ahead of him, which is helping him enormously. And Rhiann Forey here, he's going to try and get past down the inside. He's got the inside line. He's got the better tyres. You should be able to brake a little bit later. Thomas trying to hang on around the outside bravely, but no, Rhiann's through.
Yeah.
So Rhiann Forey, crucial move for him really, because otherwise his race is getting very severely ruined. Next target for him is Johnny Davis, just over a second ahead in 6th place. And already, look, closing the gap right down. Meanwhile, at the front, we haven't really said about the leaders. CJ Allen does get a penalty.
Yep.
So the leader's got a penalty, but he's got a 5-second lead over Dean in 2nd place. Pete Polini is up to 3rd from way down the order. He was 16th on the grid Bryce
Oh,
Faulkner
as-
up to 4th.
Yep, as Johnny Davis went wide throughout the far of the corner, Real Ferry would like to get past him immediately as possible through the traffic. As Scott would like to get past Thomas Edwards, he'd made a failed attempt to go past through the last 2 laps. Tried to get back exit out for the main straight. Will he do it? He really got a back exit. The RS. Oh, and it's still
A little bit of weaving from Thomas Edwards. That's a little bit naughty. A little bit of weaving there down that back straight, and that's allowed Ken through. So Scott will be very annoyed with that. Weaving from Thomas Edwards, he had to back out of it, and it's allowed Ken through, who of course has just made a stop as well. Lost a lot of time. But Scott's still stuck behind Thomas Edwards. He's been here for quite a few laps now, as James John pits from a little way down the field. But Riyadh Fori now is past Johnny Davis and up into 6th position. His next target is Matt Anderson in 5th in the other McLaren. He's got to say having a good recovery drive, closing in on Bryce Faulkner ahead of him. So can Scott finally get through? Nick Wynn's got another penalty, but can Scott finally get through? His race is being ruined here by...
Look at Riyadh Fori, he's right at the back end of Matt Anderson. Matt Anderson.
Johnny Davis gets a penalty, but these two very, very close together down into turn 2. Just about enough straight line speed there from Matt Anderson to stay ahead.
However, and he does get the best.
Didn't have a great exit. No, he didn't get a great exit. He's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS. Yellow flag, he takes one. That's Ricard out of the race.
Ricard's out of the race. What happened to him? Look at that. I'm
going to try and see. I think it might be into turn 1. It is. He's lost it in turn 1. So Ricard out of the race, a second disastrous race in a row. There's another yellow flag out there. I think that's still for Ricard. As Michael Savage gets through, Scott's got a penalty, but Scott has finally dispatched Thomas Edwards, and he moves into 9th place. Now he can get on with his race. So Riyadh Fori as well in all of that has passed Matt Anderson to move into 5th place and is now closing on Bryce Faulkner. He's having a great drive, you've got to say, up there in 4th in the Toro Rosso. He's had some good overtakes. He's keeping himself out of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, I've got Ricard in to see what happened to him. I think it'll be good to interview what's happening right now during the race. Ricard, if you like to turn on, include your audio, that would be great as well.
So Ricard, unlucky there. You were on a recovery drive there, and did you just lose it by yourself?
Yeah, it was my own fault. The tires were a bit worn, and I were a bit too eager to get on the throttle.
Yeah, we saw you having to pit at the end of the first lap. But who did you make contact with in that one?
Yeah, into turn 1, people braked earlier than I anticipated, and then someone tried to dive bomb into the hairpin on lap 1 as well, so I got some more damage there.
Anyway, so looking at this battle between Matt Anderson and Ken right now, he seems...
Bad luck, Ricard. Better luck next race.
Thanks.
Yeah, lucky. You can always spectate the race if you want to. It's been an amazing race so far anyway. Okay, so Dean has gone
Dean
into
in the pits as well.
Yep.
Yes, so Dean's gone on to a set of hard tyres, and I will see him to the end. Will he get out in front of Bryce Faulkner? Yes, he does. So Dean comes out and he keeps 3rd place. He's only dropped behind his teammate. So as Matt Anderson makes his 2nd stop of the afternoon, he was up in 7th. So he now stops as well. Riyadh Fori now right behind Bryce Faulkner. How easy is the sister Toro Rosso of the Red Bull going to make this overtake? He is going defensive. Does Riyadh Fori have enough straight line speed to go around the outside? Bryce hanging on nicely down the inside. That's great defensive driving there. Riyadh Fori forced a little bit wide, so he might lose a little bit of momentum. But you think it's only a matter of time, but this is great stuff here. Riyadh Fori, of course, pitted quite early on in the race, and he started on the soft tyres. So he'll be looking to go as quick as he can, and he's been stuck in traffic through most of this stint, so that's this strategy not going well for him at the moment. as the leader pits. CJ pits from the lead. So amazingly, Pete Polini, who started 16th on the grid, has now taken the lead of the German Grand Prix. CJ comes out just about 3.5 seconds behind him, as Bryce Faulkner pits as well from 4th place.
So the pit time round here is about 16 seconds for just a tyre change, for a front wing change. So Pete Poloni right now looks like he'll be coming out just behind of Johnny Davis, maybe even behind Scott. Scott, meanwhile, seems to be catching up to Johnny Davis in the DRS straight. Johnny Davis seems to be a bit slow.
Yeah, another mistake from Andy Shipp as well. That's what the yellow flag was in the last sector. So another mistake. He's having a difficult run there, down in 14th. He started last, and he just has not been able to get through. So, but yeah, I mean, the cars who pitted early, started on the soft tyres, they really have been caught out by the traffic here, haven't they? Which is a problem around here. With the lap times being so close, it is a problem. You're going to come out in traffic, and that's what's happened to certainly round 4. It's certainly Scott as well. He's still only 7th.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Scott on the right back on the gearbox of Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis, oh, there's contact!
Yes, I think Scott was caught out there. Johnny was slowing down to go into the pit lane. I don't think Scott realised that. So a little bit of misjudgment there. Bad luck, really. He was so close behind him. So this could be the other interesting tactic here right now. Pete Polini still carrying on those very, very worn medium tyres. CJ Allen is in 2nd place, just under 2 seconds behind him, but only 4 seconds behind him is Dean. Could they, Ferrari boys here, be trying to use a little bit of team tactics and slow CJ down and get Dean closer?
Yeah, as you can already see, CJ is already at the back of Pete Poloni. As look at the battle between Johnny Davis, who just came out of the pits, and Neil through the hairpin. Johnny Davis on the medium compound tyre, so as well as Neil as well. So this will be interesting. Oh, yellow flag back to 3. Who could it be? Doesn't look like anybody so far.
Might just be a back marker, possibly slowing down. But the longer this is going on, the more I think this is what Ferrari are doing, because Pete's gone on again. By far the longest run we've seen of anyone on these medium tyres. He's on to his 18th lap on this set of tyres. They're going to be well past their best. But and of course CJ on those hard tyres is not. Look at that fastest lap for Bryce Faulkner. He's gone out on a set of softs, so he will be stopping again. But yeah, that's a great lap from him. So, but now just a second as Neil pits in the Racing Point. Really don't know where it's gone wrong for Racing Point here. They were down in 10th and 13th. Neil pits and lets his teammate through. Rian Fori with a penalty as well. Yeah, indeed. So less than a second now between these top two. This is going to be interesting. Remember Austin last year, Kimi Räikkönen did exactly this to Lewis Hamilton. Stayed out, slowed him right down, and Kimi ended up winning the race thanks to that. I don't think Pete Polini could quite win this race, but he could certainly bring his teammate back into the within striking range of CJ. I mean, still not a bad lap time from Pete Polini. Only 4/10 off his best, so his pace is still there.
But CJ is very fastly catching up as CJ goes into overtake mode. DRS as well. Deadly combination for this main straight. It seems to be pretty
Pete
easy.
Polini's defending it. He's turned his engine up, and he's certainly fighting this hard. How late is Pete Polini going to be able to break into the hairpin? He's braking so late, and just about, hang on, he parked it on the apex, and has just about kept ahead. That was brave stuff by Pete Polini. I thought CJ was going to hang on to that, and Pete braked so late and just parked it on the apex, so CJ couldn't get the undercut back through.
Yeah,
so he's hanging on, and look at the gap. Dean has taken a second out of CJ through this battle. It was about 4.5 seconds. He's down to 3.5. Dean is edging his way back into this. Pete
Yeah,
Bellini doing a fantastic team job here. They've got a back marker ahead of them, which will help Dean actually a little bit.
He
He'll
goes
give
out
him a bit of
for another
DRS.
lap, the medium tyre as well. So this will be interesting from him.
Johnny Davis with another penalty.
Yep. As Pete Bellini will start to have another Mercedes catching up on him in the DRS zone as well.
Indeed, and he's sort of making sure he gets a little bit slower on the apex of turn 2 to get the better exit, get the better traction. And this time CJ's got the inside line. I don't think he's going to be able to hang on to it this time. How late is he going to be prepared to break? He's still trying to go around the outside, but CJ this time surely has it done. Pete Bellini gets a penalty going off track, but I think this time surely CJ is through. And well, we thought about a dive, but Pete's a better driver than that. He thought about a little dive, but CJ finally gets past Pete Bellini. He's lost about a second and a half of his lead to Dean. And watch Pete dive into the pits now. Unless, of course, he's trying to make a set of softs go to the end. That's also possible. He could come out on a set of softs.
A set of softs could probably last around 8 to 9 laps on here on the brand new set. So this will be a chance. Pete Bellini goes out for another lap of the 1 medium tyres.
Yes, and he's still in DRS range, although he's really doing well of looking after those tyres, because he's not exactly falling away from CJ, is he? He's hanging on. CJ on brand new set of hard tyres.
He's catching up fast though. 2 seconds and 8 tenths away from the lead, away from Pete Bellini. So this will be interesting now.
Yes, and he's just out of DRS range there.
Yeah,
as well.
There's Johnny
Davis, I think. Johnny Davis has spun.
Yep.
Yes, Johnny Davis spun, got front wing damage as well. That's on that. A lot of cars, and he's straight off again.
He nearly hit the wall there
and no front wing. Managed to get it reset to the racetrack, but he had no front wing. A lot of people are really struggling. We saw it in qualifying on that fast right-hander on the way into the stadium. And Johnny Davis not having the best of races, and just about gets into the pits. Then he misses the pit lane altogether. David Edgar in the just left the pits as well. He's now gone on to another set of mediums. He will go to the end. Michael Savage at the moment in the final points, but he has got to stop again, you would think, on those tyres.
Yeah,
another penalty for Andy Ship. Yeah, he's also not having the best of races.
Catching up to Pete Bellini as fast as possible right now. 1 second and 1.3 seconds away from him right now. So,
and Rian Fori pits. Rian Fori into the pits from 4th place.
Interesting what tyre he will go.
Scott
will be on the
in the Mercedes has fallen a long way back. He also dives in from 5th. We saw how close Rian and Scott were earlier on. And Scott now over 11 seconds down. So Bryce Faulkner goes back into 4th place. He definitely has to stop again. He put on a set of soft tyres. They will not last to the end. So within a couple of laps, you would think he will be stopping as Scott drops behind Matt Anderson, who should be going to the end on those hard tyres. He's up to 7th now. So top 10 very quickly. CJ leads by 3.5 seconds from the 2 Ferraris. Pete Bellini now just a few tenths ahead of his teammate Dean. Bryce up to 4th. Rian Fori is 5th. Ken is 6th in the Toro Rosso. Matt Anderson 7th. Scott 8th. Thomas Edwards still hanging on in 9th place. And Michael Savage is 10th. So that's the top 10 at the moment. Only one retirement. That's Rickard in the Haas. So now it's... Oh, CJ so nearly put it into the wall. So close as Pete Bellini pits. He got a little bit of grass on the exit of the last corner and oversteered off and so nearly went into the wall. How did he not? How did he gather that up? So he's clearly still pushing hard. The lead between him and Dean is back up to nearly 4 seconds, so he just seems to have stabilised the gap a little bit. As Bryce Faulkner also pits.
In 10 and 11, but about half a second away as well. So this will be interesting. Oh, Pete Bellini's joined back in. Still in the podium positions after one stop. It looks like he'll be going to the end as well. So if he could get a podium position out from 17th, there'll be a great race from him.
Yellow flag in sector 3. Trying to see who that might be.
Oh, it's the racing point again of Michael Savage.
Well, he has
He's
such
got-
a good race at Silverstone, and he's just both racing points are struggling so much. He's not coming in, but he's
Yep,
all
that's
the
David
way.
Edgar.
Sorry,
Yep, as
yes,
David Edgar overtakes Charles Edwards.
yes, Michael Savage has gone for a set of softs. He comes out in 11th place.
Oh, look
There's
at
10
Thomas
laps
Edwards.
to go.
Thomas Edwards going to overtake David Edgar as he blocks the outside, but ooh, that's a very, very tight line through there. Thomas
Thomas Edwards
defends
been
his
really
position.
robust in his defending here in this race, isn't he? He's really refusing to let cars go without a fight. But Michael Savage made a stop. He's come out with 10 laps to go onto a set of soft tyres. He's 14 seconds.
Look at David Edgar. David Edgar's going to go round the outside. Oh my gosh, it's so close down to the stadium section towards the hairpin. This is going to be a great battle. The medium tyre of David Edgar and the hard tyre of Thomas Edwards.
Well done, Thomas Edwards, really. He is hanging on brilliantly well.
Okay. Oh, but David Edgar good run down here. As David Edgar blocked by Thomas
That was
Edwards.
a little bit of...
David Edgar also has DRS. I think he's going to make the big move stick now, and he looks like he does, but don't forget there's another DRS section to the main straight as well, as Thomas Edwards doesn't look like he's going to be attacking him.
Oh, and that's Andy off, I think. No, there's a car off. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Nick Wynn. It was Nick Wynn in the Alfa Romeo. He went off in turn 1. I think he's got a bit of damage as well against
Thomas Edwards still batted David Edgar as hard as possible, but David Edgar obviously gets a better exit. There's the other back in sector 1 and 2. What's happened?
Yeah, that was Nick Wynn again with no front wing. He's got a bit of damage and he's struggling to keep the car on the road. So I think now that David Edgar, now that he's got into this stadium section, he will have the tyres and the grip to pull away from Thomas Edwards. The question is, can Thomas Edwards hang on to the final point? He's 11 seconds ahead of Michael Savage, who's closing in at about 2 seconds a lap. There's 9 laps to go. He's going to have another battle on his hands.
Look at Scott and Matt Anderson, however, as they go on the main straight, both on the medium compound tyre, who has the best overtaking opportunity. They're passing sector 3 as well. Half a second.
I think that might be our old friend Nick Wynn again.
Yep, as Scott is pacing it down.
Oh, and that's the Alfa Romeo. I think he's out. Yes, Nick Wynn is out. He's crashed at the Sachs curve, and Nick Wynn is out of the race. That's our second retirement of the day.
Look at the side-by-side moment. I think Matt Anderson has let Scott through.
So race order, CJ now leads by just under 5 seconds from Dean, who try as he might, cannot get that gap down. Pete Polini is third. He's some 18 seconds down, but he's on much fresher tyres, and he is just about closing the gap down. Rian Fori, quite a quiet race really so far from him. He's in 4th place, had that incident early on, but he's recovered well up to 4th. Kenny's 5th in the Toro Rosso. Then we've got quite a gap then to Scott in 6th place. Matt Anderson is 7th. Bryce Faulkner is 8th. He's gone onto another set of soft tyres. They should just about be able to go to the end. Can he catch the McLaren and the Mercedes ahead of him? He's not that far behind. 9th is David Edgar, and 10th, hanging on to the final point, is the McLaren of Thomas Edwards, but being caught now about 3 seconds a lap by Michael Savage in the Force India. So I think Thomas Edwards might struggle to hang on to that position. I mean, we've seen how robust he is in his defending so far in this race. He may have to do it again here and get the elbows out to stay ahead of Michael Savage, but surely with those soft tyres he's going to have a job. I'm trying to see who that might be. I think it was Jabez John just running a little bit wide. He's under pressure from Andy Schiff, who's just made a pit stop.
Yeah, I see.
So, yes, I think Andy's going to very quickly get past that Williams brand new soft tyres.
Oh, but
against
they just went on the grass.
Yeah. A little bit of contact there.
Yeah, a little bit sketchy through the first corner. And I think, yeah, he lets Rian Fori through Jin on. And Dippy has to do so as well. So, The closest battle seeming to be so far is Matt and Scott for 6th and 7th, and Ken for round 4A for 4th and 5th, and that's it for the 1 second mark.
But 3 seconds, Michael Savage to get Thomas Edwards there. He's going to be on his tail within a couple of laps, just 6 seconds behind him in the battle for the final point.
Yep. As Ken is catching up to Real 4, keeping it just between a second and a second and a half. So this will be interesting to see how Real 4 defends. Of course, he had a pretty bad race last out in Silverstone, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs here in Germany. As Real 4 goes a bit wide onto the corner, last corner of the lap. Ken is just out
looking
of the
at the fastest
range.
lap at the moment. Incredibly, Bryce Faulkner's still got the fastest lap on a 1:15.3. So he looks like getting an extra point. And the fastest lap for those outside the top 10 is currently held by Andy Shipp down in 14th position. Who amazingly, his fastest lap is sort of on a par with everyone in the top 10. So it goes to show how much he has struggled in this race to get himself in, get himself through without losing a front wing. But just 3 seconds now. Thomas Edwards is going to struggle, definitely. A lot of oversteer through turn 1, but he's just 3.5 seconds now clear of Michael Savage. And also catching quite quickly is the other Racing Point, who's on the harder tyres. He's in 12th position, so we could have Thomas Edwards, if he can hang on for a while, we could have him with both Racing Points right on his tail. Andy Shipp closing in quickly on Johnny Davis as well on a brand new set of the soft tyres. Meanwhile at the front, CJ Allen has lost a little bit of his
Andy's
lead.
got the fastest lap, though.
That's a great lap, 15.0 from Andy Shipp as he closes in on Johnny Davis in the battle for 13th and 14th. But up the front, CJ's lost about a second of his lead to Dean. It was about 5 seconds. He's now down to just over 4. So I'm not sure if he's made a mistake somewhere or if Dean's just getting on with it a little bit more here.
Look at Andy. Andy's going to go down the inside. Oh, but he doesn't. He backs out of it the last moment. Johnny Davis does have another lockup though. So this will be interesting as he is fighting his way on fresh, new, soft tyres. Especially with 5 laps to go. Yes,
and the other battle to look out for here is Ken is catching Rian very quickly in the battle for 4th place, just over a second between them. So it's going to be close between that little lot as well. Bryce Faulkner on the soft tyres can't quite make any headway ahead of him. He's in 8th position at the moment. Yellow flag in sector 2. I'm going to try and see who that might be. Might just be a back marker getting out of the way.
Yeah, but
a fair play to Thomas Edwards. He only lost a second on that previous lap. So fair play to him. He's hanging on. He's hanging on those hard tyres in 10th place. Desperately wants the final point. He's got a lot of oversteer in that McLaren though. Really struggling even through turn 7, which is quite an easy corner. Had a little bit of oversteer. Ken now less than a second behind Rian Fori. The problem Rian Fori's got is ahead of him we've got Johnny Davis and Andy Shipp a lap down, but fighting hard, and Rian Fori just cannot get past, and that's what's enabling Ken to close the gap. As Andy's gone for it again, and Rian does get past Andy. Does Andy realise there's another car just behind? Oh, he comes back on the track just ahead.
Oh, but
so I think Ken will just be able to pick his way through. Oh, there's contact! There's contact! Johnny Davis is off. Well, he tried to hang on for too long. He caught the rear wheel of Rian Fori. Very, very lucky there that Rian's not got any damage or wasn't forced to spin out himself. That was very, very fortunate for Rian Fori. Really, Johnny should have backed out of that a lot sooner. And a big spin into turn 7.
That was really unexpected from the lap cars as well, for Johnny Davis especially. So this will be at Leo Place in sector 3. Who could it be? It looks like Johnny Davis wants to be.
I think it might be Johnny recovering to the pits. Yeah, he's got some front wing damage now as Johnny Davis, so he will have to stop.
Still don't.
I'm just looking at it. He might even drop to last place here if he does pit. No, he is staying out, but he's only 20 seconds clear of Jabus John and losing ground, so he could, if he made a stop, he may drop back. So Riat Fori back up to speed, pulled the gap back out to over a second to Ken. So he's trying to keep that position safe. CJ's also responded to Dean, has kept the lead around the 4-second mark.
But Thomas Edwards
the
goes
pair
off.
of them.
But Thomas Edwards goes off. And there's that was so close to contact with the left right. Slow chicane, as Thomas Edwards also gets a 3-second time penalty for that as well. So Thomas Edwards did go on.
And he's got some
gravel.
damage on his front wing as well. He's got some damage to compound that. He's got some damage, so I don't think he's going to. I mean, well, he's really cut turn one there, but
yeah, I just saw that.
he's got some front wing damage. He's not. Michael Savage looks like he's going to hang on to the final point in 10th place.
Yeah, it looks like
I
it.
don't think there's anything Thomas Edwards can do.
Yeah.
And another second's gone between the two leaders. I don't know if CJ's getting caught in some traffic, but CJ's gap is down to just over 3 seconds. We're on lap 32 of 34 here. There is a back marker there. So I think
time for the race tonight. That will be amazing, especially with a great race tonight for all the drivers.
Yeah, I can see a racing point in there. I think CJ might have lost a bit of time behind Neil when he came to lap him. So he has recovered a little bit of that gap back already, as now Dean is going to have to pass that racing point. Does Neil make it easy for him? No, he's actually pulling away a little bit, if anything, actually. Neil there, so he seems to have found a turn of speed from someone. Is that Neil or is it Michael Savage? It is Neil. Michael Savage seems to be struggling a little bit. He's struggling to pull away from Thomas Edwards. He's hanging on to him. They're still less than a second apart. He's still got the DRS. Neil pits, so he's going to be going for the fastest lap here outside the top 10.
Yeah, it looks like it anyway. Oh wait, there's a 3-tenth gap between Michael Savage and Thomas Edwards.
Things to remember here as well, of course, CJ Allen has got a 3-second penalty to be added to his time, and I don't think Dean has. So if Dean can get that gap under 3 seconds, he may well just about snatch the win. I think that's why CJ's getting on with it again. The gap back out to nearly 4 seconds. That could be why CJ's going for it. But yes, 3 seconds. I don't think Dean's got any penalties. I will just double check that. But I don't think he has.
I'll have a look as well.
No penalties for Dean. He's got a warning, but no penalties. So if he can get that gap under 3 seconds, he will snatch the win. And CJ again here being very unlucky with the back markers.
No, Michael Savage got a puncher. Michael Savage got a puncher.
Unbelievable. Thomas Edwards retakes the position. He was pushing those soft tyres. He's done 9 laps on those soft tyres.
My question is, how has Michael Savage got a puncture on lap 9 of these tyres with Bryce Faulkner still going on the soft tyre? What happened? How did he get a puncture?
Oh,
That's amazing.
It's a setup. I mean, I think we've seen him lock up a couple of times as well. So maybe he's just put a bit of too much pressure into those soft tyres. I mean, Bryce doesn't really need to push that hard. He's 10 seconds clear of the car behind him.
I haven't seen
yellow flag in sector 3. That's Johnny Davis just letting Bryce Faulkner through. So nothing to worry about
that's
there.
Andy Shippey. That's Andy. He spun.
Terrible race for Andy, really. He's made so many mistakes in this race. We're on to the final lap. CJ leads by 3.4 seconds. It's going to be tight, but just very, very quickly, Jar, who do you think takes driver of the day?
I think Pete Piloti. Although he's been quiet throughout most of the race, he started from 16th and made his way up to the podium position. So, I think
I've got to agree with you.
I think yellow flag sector 3.
Him.
And once again, yellow flag sector 3 doesn't look like to be anything. So that's fine.
But CJ Allen now coming through the final corner. And a great drive from him. CJ Allen wins in Germany. Great drive. Dean comes home second. In the end, just 7 tenths behind him, thanks to that penalty. 20 laps on those hard tyres for Dean as well. Pete Polini, like you said, from the back, near the back of the field, he was 16th on the grid out of 17. And Pete Polini comes through to finish third.
Neil scores the fastest lap. But and
Neil gets 10th at the end.
Yep, yeah.
Yes, penalties for Thomas Edwards has put him into 11th position. So Neil snatches the final point Ryan Forey and Ken have also finished. Scott will be disappointed, really got badly held up in traffic after his
But
first
remember,
pit
he also
stop,
had
and
a
he
wet
finishes
second as
sixth.
well.
Yes, he did, but he was right up there at the start. And
Yep.
Matt Anderson finishes his first race in, well, it was 7th, but thanks to his penalties, Bryce Faulkner, I'd say, outside bet for him, really, for driver of the day as well. Great drive from him, up in 4th at one point, and comes home 7th, kept himself out of trouble. James John comes across the line now to finish in 14th position. What a race there.
That was that was an amazing race for all the drivers. Right, I'm gonna get the podium finishers into the party, so give me a second.
Great drive though from CJ. Made a couple of mistakes at the last race when he was pursuing the win and ended up, I think, only snatched a few points in the end. So redemption for him. 2 Ferraris will be delighted with the double podium, especially Pete Polini. We've got Pete in the party and we've got Dean in the party as well. If you can just make sure on the party chat that your audio is included so we can all hear you, and CJ also in.
Yep, CJ, if you do have a mic, I don't think you do actually. Oh, you do actually. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, right.
Great drive from you, CJ. You must be delighted with that win.
So CJ, how did you manage to, especially on that first lap, how did you manage to overtake Dean into the first corner, especially with the again, no penalties at all on the final lap, about 7 tenths away from from him winning, basically. Yeah. How did you manage to control your pace for the whole entire race? Especially this is your first race winning. Yeah, great drive from you. Matt, are you here?
Dean, you come home second, qualified on the front row. It's a good result for second, but is there just a little bit of disappointment there for you?
Yeah, just a little bit. I thought I had you, Chris, but you know. It was good fun.
It was a great battle at the start. We enabled CJ to get away, really, but it was a great battle between 4 or 5 drivers for second place. But it did seem to just cost you a little bit of time there at the beginning of the race.
CJ, we didn't hear your audio during the live stream because you didn't include your audio apparently to one of the viewers watching the race. Go into the party and you see include my audio as a tick box.
Like that. There we go.
Alright, Matt, do you want to ask the questions again?
Yeah, go for it.
I got feeling deja vu here. CJ, you must be delighted with your first ever race win here.
Yeah, it was great, absolutely. I mean, Dean pushed me to the end, so it was really tight. I didn't know if he had a time penalty like myself, so I just had to keep it with the 3-second gap. And then also passing a lot of traffic caused me a few issues as well, which lost a bit of time, but managed to scrape it through in the end, and it feels great.
Not enough issues.
We saw you so nearly. I was looking at you at the time, so nearly crashed into the pit wall. That must have been a scary second for you.
Oh yeah, I thought that was it. I thought it was gone.
Well done on hanging on to it. Dean, you like it, you were on pole position. Come home second in the end, but still a good result for you both, for both Ferraris being up on the podium.
Yep, Maverick done a great job as well, holding on to them medium tyres for so long. And he kind of helped me out, slowing Chris down a little touch, I think, but I don't. I think it was acceptable enough.
Yeah,
But,
Pete,
yeah.
I mean, you started 16th. I think you were caught out a little bit with the conditions in Q1, but you must be delighted to come home third.
Oh, it was definitely going to be a recovery drive from the start, but it was nice to be able to beat my way through and get up to the podium with Dean there and take home a good day for Ferrari for sure.
Yeah, Pete, you've also
Yeah,
earned
we saw-
driver of the day as well, so good on you, mate.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw,
Thanks,
we
guys.
saw you do a very, very long first stint on those medium tyres, and you really did fight CJ. Was that a little bit of team tactics going on there?
It wasn't necessarily team tactics, but I knew that I needed to get a couple more laps in, and if it helped out Dean a little bit too, it wasn't a bad thing. So it kind of worked out for everybody. Make him race me a little bit to get by anyhow.
You did indeed.
Yeah, it was a cracking battle. It really was. I mean, there was a couple of times I thought you two were going to collect, and you somehow avoided each other. But a
Yeah, it
great
was a
race
lot
from
of
you
fun
three.
too.
Yeah, great race from you three. Well done on the making the podium. Like I said, a great day for Ferrari, good day for Mercedes as well, and we look forward to the next race.
Perfect.
you,
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, well done, lads. Amazing race for Germany tonight. And these are our podium
Yes.
finishes. CJ Allen, Chris Allen on first, with me, Dean, the second, and Pete Poloni. Amazing recovery drive from 16th all the way up to third. Thank you, guys.
That's an awesome effort, people.
So thank you very much everyone for joining us again this evening.
That's fine.
Thank you also to Jar Baloo for joining me once again in the commentary box this evening.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to commentate on these XG races.
Yeah, another stunning race, and hopefully you can join us again next week when we'll be at Hungary. Good evening for now.